my director wants me to blow this, but my last born is watching, so hey, Liam Mungatana Matero is watching, so wacha nisipulize, nitamwacha hii ndio kazi yake kupuliza. Let's look at last week's results. The football slip. Tuangalie nani alishinda, nani ilikuwa ni. Kenya Police 2-0 Bidco, Gor Mahia 0-0 against Tusker, Bandari 2-3 against Talanta. In the Bundesliga ilikuwa Sanitasa dhidi ya Bayer Leverkusen dhidi ya Bayern München na Bayern Munich. Real Betis 3, Real Sociedad 0. Osasuna played to a 1-1 draw against Real Madrid. Lazio played to another draw. A 2-2 draw against Napoli. Juventus won at home against Inter Milan. Tottenham bagged a 1 goal against Manchester United. Brighton bagged 3 points against Dennis Otachi's Chelsea with a 3-0 goal scoreline. Tuangalie
results, because this before we take a look at how we had performed. Last week's results looked like last week's sleep looked karaoke. Ilikuwa inakaa direct, yani
it was so
direct forward.
You look at
direct
the games.
wins.
Yeah, you look at the games and you're like, hii ni moja kwa moja tu.
It
was very predictable. But again,
like this one, angalia Real Madrid.
Yeah, actually, yes, Osasuna was home.
Yes,
but definitely Real
we
Madrid.
Expected goals here.
We expected exactly.
Yani ilikuwa inakaa straight forward.
Once a goal Mahia Tusker,
we expected goals.
We expected goals there. And also, there was also another, Tottenham, Manchester United. I didn't expect.
We expected goals.
Goals, not necessarily a win.
Now, Dennis, tusianze na Hassan, acha tuanze na karaoke. Tuanze na karaoke.
Haina tofauti hata tuanze na karaoke.
Tuanze na karaoke. Straight forward.
From Addis Ababa with a 4.
Oh, alisema it's not Addis Ababa. Ndio za baba.
Ndio za baba.
But as I said, it was
from 9. You had a 9 last week, right? 9.
No, we understand that.
You guys.
Sedo.
Okay,
Sedo, we understand.
It was different.
Sedo, we understand the coffee might have been too ilikuwa chungu sana, but kawa tungu. There are some games that, of course, he saw them like straight wins or even draws, and I want to pick one or two before we move to the other results. By Leverkusen versus Bayern Munich. Everybody expected goals in this tie.
Looking at the results vis-a-vis your prediction, it's a story of nature at a point trying to define its course.
Yes.
We have all along, and I think at some point in this show, have mentioned you to try to redefine your way of betting and maybe try to attack this thing directly, as you put it.
Yes.
So as if you would have attacked it direct, maybe you couldn't have been languishing below average. And going by how it has, it literally have defined you. Maybe moving forward, you don't need to be showing us over the 1.4 and everything. But you start now going and tackle the bulls.
See, if you're tackling the bull by the horns, Real Madrid, you expect them to win, but they settled for 1-1 draw against Osasuna. Cedric, briefly, before we take a look at the other results.
No, a game of Real Madrid and Osasuna was defined by so very many moments. Remember Jude Bellingham picking a red card.
Yes.
And we haven't again said that their front four is defined by those Rodrigo, Bellingham, Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe. You try to delete one, it will destabilize that particular front. There's a gap. And remember, it's a team that's also playing with a depleted backline. So as if you mess up with the front line, and going by my understanding of football, whereby you defend by attacking, you go by mess up Real Madrid attacking, you're bound actually to beat them. And that's what happened to Real Madrid against Osasuna. And that's why even them picking a point from that, I might say that it was so lucky for them, given to whatever that really happened in that particular match. And also, they were really reserving those players for their midweek match.
So, they know, proudly, Nilipata ngapi? 4. 4 out of 10.
That's why you have won.
Only 4 out of 10.
No, you have really,
4 out of 10.
No, he has actually talked much.
I was on leave. I can explain. I was on leave. I can explain. I was on leave.
No,
and then, of course...
Wait, before you move to Hassan.
No.
No, there's one thing that... Wait.
Ulikuwa na 4.
Hakikisha umenigonga sana. Gor Mahia Tusker, I think it is the third or the second game that Gor Mahia is
Yesterday
0-0.
they didn't score.
Even yesterday it was
They didn't
0-0.
score. That's why we're saying, remember, this is the conversation, Kariuki, we had when we began the show.
Right.
The new coach, under his tenure, they are yet to score goals. That is something that Gor Mahia fans are asking themselves. Right? They are going into the derby. Remember, this weekend, there is no KPL, but the other weekend, there will be the derby. So there is the worry that, you know what, we are not scoring goals heading into the derby.
Right.
So there was a very big question in this tie, and then of course after the game they got yesterday. But of course, it's not that Hassan performed very well, but unajua kama kila mtu amepigwa, wote ni kama
This is our number 1.
So as to say, this class has been retrogressively going down.
Cedric, I still have to take you back to that point that we're having, that the game seems straightforward, wins, but they changed, everything changed. Remember, Kenya Police Bidco, that we said it's a straight win. Gor Mahia vs Tusker, it's a game that we expected goals. Bandari vs Talanta, we expected Bandari to win because Talanta has been struggling.
Yes.
Leverkusen vs Bayern, Leverkusen for the last 1 year, they've been having an upper edge over Bayern Munich, and in doing so, they've been scoring goals. And then, aside from that, Real Sociedad this week. Sedo, let me finish.
I know you are prosecuting. You are prosecuting your case very well simply because you fall within the bracket of guys
I
who
fall
are
within the
operating.
bracket, but I want to tell you something. Juventus has been settling for a number of draws. And then Inter Milan is the second best team.
Yes.
Is the second best team in Italy, and them losing to Juventus, that was unexpected.
So as Tottenham about
Tottenham
Manchester.
against Man United, we expected goals, and then of course Brighton against Chelsea. That one we
that
expected.
was a surprise.
No, we expected. They defeated.
Sorry. I think
Hassan, kidogo. Hassan, kidogo. No. Wait. We are prosecuting something. Brighton winning against Chelsea, we expected because waliwapiga a week ago. So this one we expected. So Dennis, because we are running out of time, let's take a look at today's sleep. Sleep ya leo inakaaje? Sleep ya leo, Tusker will be taking on Shabana, KCB versus Madare. Bayern will be taking on Frankfurt, Leipzig versus Heidenheim. Inter Milan will be taking on Genoa, Empoli versus Atalanta, Real Sociedad at home taking on Leganes, Valencia welcome Atletico Madrid, Aston Villa battle Chelsea, and Manchester City take on Liverpool. So these are our predictions.
4 out of 10. Go for it, bro. Go for it, bro. 4 out of 10. Go for it.
Exactly. At 4
out of 10.
You said you are on leave.
4 out of 10.
Now,
go for it.
He was on leave?
Yes.
So you mean losers first?
No, this losers.
So, okay.
I don't interact with losers. Go for it, man.
Okay.
You know, the danger. You see, Robbie.
Hassan has said, I want to quickly rush through this.
I know.
Hassan has said, I got 4 out of 10.
But it's true.
He got 5 out of 10. I don't know if he's a best loser, but in losing, you can't be best. That is what happens. But, you know, the good thing is, ever since this show started, the only person mwenye ashaipata 10 mara tano, yours faithfully, Robbie.
So Robbie.
Yeah. So these are my predictions. Tusker Shabana over 1.5. KCB Madare, either KCB win or draw. Bayern Munich versus Frankfurt. This will be half goals. Leipzig versus Heidenheim. Straight win. Leipzig. Inter Milan versus Genoa. Straight win. Inter Milan. Empoli, Atalanta. Our si wana struggle, Atalanta ama draw. Real Sociedad versus Leganes over 1.5. Valencia versus Atletico or draw. Aston Villa Chelsea over Aston Villa or draw. Man City versus Liverpool over 1.5. Hassan, your prediction before tukuende kwa mtu wa Murima, and then no.
I wanted you to interact with your fellow failure.
No. You collect failures, me I collect wins.
You look at your script, or rather you are asleep.
It's a winning script.
5 is winning.
5 is winning.
No, I mean, come on. You got 4, 5.
What's the difference?
That's
But a win is a win. A win is a win.
5
Okay, Hassan.
From busy, man.
Hassan, Sedo is saying a win is a win.
A win is a win.
A win is a win.
No, you know 70 to 75 is an A.
Sedo.
So we all did the same.
Sedo.
Ungekuwa we last week ungepata ngapi?
You know, failures also, as in, you can't fail all of you in the same class. Even if you are below average,
Cedric,
there must be a winner.
Yes.
Cedric.
Tell him.
No, Cedric, pass mark ni 7. Mtu wa kwanza amepata 5. Wawili wamepata 4.
But we have...
No, but
is that a pass mark?
No, he's still among the competition, he's still a winner.
No,
exactly.
The question is this, Cedric.
Yes.
Why are we even having this
pass mark ni 7.
Yes.
Below 7, you have all failed.
But there's still one who is
Cedric.
on top among those failures. That is still a winner.
Mupe basi.
Is a winner.
Hassan.
No, Robinson. It is actually, for instance, it is his time and moment to carry that.
Yes, exactly. With 5.
Hassan. Umemaliza zako.
Prediction yake unapata ngapi?
So
not mine first.
So as to say,
yes.
So as to say that Hassan has been improving and he has come out as one of the best. Yeah.
Not unless improving.
He has admitted you guys.
6 to 5.
From 6 to 5.
The other time I think
We give it where it's due.
No. This is the thing. I don't know if we can get last week, not this week, last week's results. Yeah, we can't get them. Because of time. Okay.
Let's always think about.
So, Dennis, just 10 seconds. Hassan, just 10 seconds. Now, this week, now that karaoke you are in Addis Ababa, and you got 6.
Yes.
You got
I got 4.
Yes, but the week before that,
I had 9.
You had 9.
Yes.
I had 10.
Yes.
Hassan had 8.
8 or 7.
8. So, Hassan dropping to 5.
Because you are A.
Yeah, they are saying it's a win.
No, it's on an average. Hassan has won with 5.
There's no average. Let's go to karaoke.
Hassan, look at this.
Let's go to karaoke.
4. The other time he beat you by 1. On average, you are square.
Look at mine. Nimekaa chini nikaiangalia sasa.
Amesema Tusker Shabana 1x, KCB Mathare under 3.5. Okay, hizo under 3.5. Uzuri, hii ni game inaweza isha 2-2. Bayern Munich versus 1x, Leipzig Heidenheim over 1.5, Inter Milan Genoa 1x, Empoli Atalanta GG, Real Sociedad Leganés over 1.5, Valencia Atletico GG, and then Aston Villa Chelsea, of course, 2.5, Man City Liverpool GG. So those are our predictions for the weekend. Cedric, I want to, because we are almost winding up. Hassan tumeona yake okay, let me run through quickly Hassan's nini amesema Tusker Shabana 1x, KCB Mathare over 1.5, Bayern Frankfurt 1x, Leipzig Heidenheim 1x. Last time ile Bayern walikosa kufunga bao, but Milan Genoa, it's Inter Milan win, and then Empoli versus Atalanta, it's going to be Atalanta or draw, and then we have Sociedad versus Leganés, it's going to be 1x. Valencia versus Atletico, it's over 1.5. Aston Villa Chelsea 1.5. Man City Liverpool over 1.5. Now, those are the predictions now because we're running out of time. Cedric, I want us to go to the biggest games of this weekend. We begin with Bayern Munich versus Frankfurt. Who's going to win, Cedo?
We are seeing Bayern Munich that is trying actually to come, but they really literally struggle even to go past
Leverkusen. And even Celtic in the Champions League.
Yeah, it's not quite convincing that Bayern Munich is still the Bayern Munich that we have associated themselves with. And I might predict that in this particular game, they will still have to struggle. And it might literally maybe happen to play well to them. They might end up in a draw.
It was a 1-1 draw. And then in the league against Bayer Leverkusen, it was a barren draw. Now, Mutu wa Murima, Chelsea. visiting Aston Villa.
I foresee an Aston Villa win because Chelsea, you look at the game they've been playing, I think they've not been performing very well in the previous 3 or 4 games. Most of the time they have been having draws and losing, but Aston Villa has been having a very good run. Yes, after facing Liverpool, and it was a draw of 2-2. And Chelsea, the last game, I think they also went on a draw. I think.
Kaka, last game Chelsea wamecheza. They lost to Brighton.
And actually they lost to Brighton.
What makes you think Aston Villa
Sorry. You are in Addis Ababa. Yeah. The year is 2017.
They are behind. Addis Ababa is a year behind.
Even Aston Villa, regardless of what it has done, I know a good run to him is when Aston Villa pulls a draw among the teams that are chasing the league. But they have been really pulling. The best they have done is draws. They have not been winning.
But they have been playing a very good game.
Cedric,
when you compare with what Chelsea have been doing, you will realize that they are...
Cedric, the thing with Aston Villa against big teams is collecting draws.
Yes.
That is the thing with Aston Villa. Okay, now let's move away from Aston Villa and Kariuki's 2017
predictions.
Let's get to the big game of the weekend. Cedric, Manchester City versus Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Both of
this definitely has what it takes to change the way the title will be.
It is
the title challenge.
I presume that City are now wounded.
Yeah.
And City have roped in some of the players who are also out there to at least bring the value for them being brought into such kind of a bigger team in EPL. The likes of Omar Mamouche, if you mentioned, Hassanov is so young, but he will try actually to emulate the likes of Raul Asensio at Real Madrid, because they don't follow the Pau Kubasi at 17 years old at Barcelona. Him actually being brought to Man City, he needed actually to raise that occasion and try to tell the story, write his story across the world as how youngsters have come and really solidify that centre-back. But and again, I'm also saying there was a tactical approach. People did not see what Guardiola did against Real Madrid. Some of the players whom we would expect them to play against Real Madrid were warming the bench. KDB was on the bench. The likes of Haaland. Today, he came out and told us that KDB was okay, and he could even play him in that particular game. But it was a tactical approach, which is kind of a question mark to me. A tactical approach, maybe he was preserving KDB for this particular game. That's actually changed the dynamic.
Sedo, we have a minute before we wrap up the show. Who's winning? I know you would have wanted to talk a lot about this, but who's winning?
Okay, a tight game, Liverpool will still come out.
Murima.
Liverpool will have the day.
Liverpool will have it.
I'm actually voting for Man City.
Voting for Hassan is voting for Man City. So let's quickly run through the fixtures that we have for this weekend in different leagues across the world. We begin with the English Premier League. Leicester take on Brentford tomorrow. Early kickoff. Everton face Manchester. Manchester United versus Everton is the early kickoff. Arsenal take on West Ham. Then Bournemouth will be facing Wolves. Fulham take on Crystal Palace. Aside from that, we also have other fixtures as Ipswich host Tottenham, Southampton battle Brighton, Aston Villa host Chelsea, Newcastle battle Nottingham Forest, and Manchester City will be in action against Liverpool. And then we go to Spanish La Liga. Celta Vigo host Osasuna. Alaves will be at home against Espanyol. Rayo Vallecano will be battling Villarreal. Valencia host Atletico Madrid as Las Palmas take on Barcelona. And then on the other day, Athletic Club Bilbao will be taking on Valladolid. Real Madrid host Girona. Getafe will be taking on Betis as Real Sociedad battle Leganés. That is Spanish La Liga. And then we get into the Serie A. Lecce take on Udinese. Parma will be facing Bologna. Venezia take on Lazio. Torino faces Milan. Inter Milan will be hosting Genoa. And then on Sunday, we have a couple of fixtures. Como take on Napoli, Verona take on Fiorentina. Empoli will be at home against Atalanta, and Cagliari take on Juventus. Those are the fixtures that we have in Serie A. And then Bundesliga, we have Freiburg hosting Bremen, and then Borussia Mönchengladbach host Augsburg. Holstein Kiel take on Bayer Leverkusen. Wolfsburg will be in action against Bochum. Mainz will be hosting St. Pauli. And then on Sunday, or not even Sunday, still on Saturday, Borussia Dortmund take on Union Berlin. Leipzig take on Heidenheim. And then on Sunday, Bayern Munich take on Frankfurt. as Hoffenheim take on Stuttgart. Those are the fixtures that we have when you take on, let's get to the Champions League round of 16. PSV face Arsenal, Benfica versus Barcelona. Dortmund will be hosting Lille, and then Atletico Madrid will be facing the defending champions and record winners, Real Madrid. That is in the round of 16. Aside from that, PSG will be facing Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Bayer Leverkusen, Feyenoord take on Inter Milan, as Club Brugge face the one and only Aston Villa. Yes, in the round of 16 draw for the Europa League, we have Tottenham facing as Alkmaar. Then Ajax will be facing Frankfurt. Fenerbahce take on Rangers as Roma host Athletic Club Bilbao. And then the other 4 teams that are remaining in that competition, rather 8, you have Bodo taking Olympiacos, FCSB taking on Lyon, Manchester United, the mighty, face Real Sociedad, and Victoria face Lazio. Yes, we have the inaitwaje
Conference League.
Wanacheza bado? Conference League.
But I think
Chelsea wako Conference League.
Because
wanacheza na Copenhagen. Chelsea wanacheza na Copenhagen. Alafu Real Betis na Victoria, alafu kuna Jagiellonia wanacheza na Cercle Brugge, Molde wanacheza na Legia Warsaw. Those are some of the draws in the Conference League. And then you have Celje against Lugano, Pafos take on Jagadens, Rapid take on Borac, and Fiorentina will be facing Panathinaikos from Greece. Cedric, what are you looking forward to this week? This coming weekend, rather, not the week.
We still actually keep an eye the biggest match. I think it's the only biggest match in Europe.
This weekend, that Liverpool, is the biggest match.
Liverpool versus Man City.
Yes.
It's a game that everyone actually will be waiting to launch an eye to.
What wakupate wapi Facebook?
Facebook, Cedric Msumba. I'm also actually on Twitter, same Cedric Msumba, but not that very active.
But Facebook, Cedric Msumba.
Yeah, Facebook, Cedric Msumba.
Kaka wakupate wapi?
na Twitter squeeze inaitwa X.
Jamala 2017.
X.
Wakupate wapi?
Wanipate kwa Facebook Daniel Kariuki, X Dani Kariuki, kwenye Instagram Dan _Kariuki.
You are reinstated on X?
Yeah.
When?
Yeah, Dani Kariuki.
Okay.
Then
Daniel
also
Kariuki on X, Daniel Kariuki on Facebook.
Yes.
Weekend utakuwa wapi?
Dan _Kariuki on Instagram. And then on Saturday, Sunday, EPL is home of EPL is Radio Maisha, so ensure that you tune to Radio Maisha tomorrow. Ali kick off Manchester United versus Everton. Tutakuwa pale na Steven Mkangai, Walter Kinjo na Shafi Zele. It is only Radio Maisha that do the football commentary in the country, so tune in tomorrow and Sunday for the EPL. We are the only ones who have the rights to do that.
Hi, Man City win. Joseph, correct score. City 0, Liverpool 2. Big game 4-3. Ajanambia big game 4-3 inaenda wapi? I'm Felix, I think Man City 4, Liverpool 3. I'm Felix watching from Kitale. I expect Liverpool to carry the day. Hi, ni Henry Shingo from Bokoli. Show iko lit, Liverpool wafanye hiyo kitu. Sina la ziada, asante sana kwa kutuazima macho.
Let me return my knees.
No,
you know, I'm going back to golf. Like, have a good night. Have a good night. No, snap your fingers.
Snap your finger. Dennis Otacha kwapi? Dennis Otacha ameenda wapi?
Achana na Otacha. Anatuforce tuongee maneno ya conference.
Na conference.
Surely.
Otacha.